Hey everyone, welcome to AI Explained Simply. I'm Marvelous, and in this series, I'm going to break down every piece of AI, what it is, how it works, and how we use it. In plain English, no jargon, no hype. So, let's get started with the most basic question. What actually is AI? So, here's the thing. AI is not what most people think it is. When people hear artificial intelligence, they picture a machine that thinks, something that understands the world in the same way we do. But that is not what we actually have. What we actually have is a software that is really, really good at finding patterns in data. That's all it is, pattern recognition, but at a very massive scale. When ChatGPT writes you a paragraph, it's not thinking about what to say, it's predicting the most likely next word based off of patterns that it has learned through from billions of pages of text. It's seen millions of sentences. This is the key insight that I want you to take away. AI doesn't understand, it predicts. So, let's talk about how these models actually work. The AI behind ChatGPT, Claude, and all of these enterprise AI assistants that we see. These are all called large language models, also known as LLMs for short. The process is surprisingly simple to explain. First, you take billions of pages of texts, books, websites, Wikipedias, code repositories, and you feed it all into a neural network during training. This takes weeks and costs millions of dollars. During the training, the model learns statistical patterns. It learns that after certain words, certain other words are likely to follow. It learns grammar, facts, coding patterns, all as statistical relationships. Then you give it a prompt like explain how networking works, right? It generates a response one word at a time, and each word is chosen as the most likely next word, giving everything that came before it. That's why responses stream in word by word whenever we use these tools. It's literally generating one token at a time. And a quick note on tokens. A token is a roughly three quarters of a word, right? The word investigating is actually three tokens, right? Every token costs money, both going in and coming out. That's why most AI APIs charge per token, right? Now, if you're wondering what an API is, it just stands for Application Programming Interface. It's just a way for two programs to speak to each other. When you send a message to an AI, your app makes an API call, right? It sends your text over the internet to the AI service and gets a response back. Think of it like ordering food at a restaurant, right? You tell the waiter what you want, the kitchen makes it, and then the waiter brings it back. The waiter is pretty much the API. Next, we're going to get into the different types of AI you'll hear about. The first is narrow AI. This is everything we have today. ChatGPT is great at writing text. DALI E is great at making images, but none of them can do what the others do. They're all very good at one specific thing. The second is general AI, or also known as AGI. This would be a system that can do any intellectual task a human can do. Learn new skills on its own, truly understand context. These don't exist in our modern day today. Despite what all the headlines say, we're simply just not there yet. Every AI you use at work, whether it be Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, is narrow AI, and they are incredibly powerful at specific tasks, but they can't think or understand the way you do. Not just yet. Okay, so let me make this concrete, right? When you type a message to an AI assistant, you say, plan me a 7-day trip to Japan on a budget. Here's actually what happens behind the scenes. Your text gets broken down into tokens, those numbers I mentioned earlier. Those tokens get sent over a network to a model running on some sort of cloud GPU, right? Which is just massive graphic cards designed for this type of maths, right? The model processes your tokens through billions of parameters. Now, you might be wondering, what is a parameter, right? Think of it as a tiny dial inside of the model, while during training, each dial gets adjusted. It gets tuned up or tuned down based on the patterns in the training data. A model like GPT-4 has about 1.8 trillion of these dials, and together they all represent everything the model knows. More parameters generally mean the model can handle more complex patterns, but it also costs a lot more to run. Then it starts predicting a response one token at a time. Each token gets sent back to you as it's generated, and that's why you see the text appear one word by word. The whole thing takes about 2 to 10 seconds and costs roughly 1 to 5 cents per message, depending on how long the conversation is, and also depending on what region of the world you're in as well. So, we're just going to wrap up today's takeaways, right? AI is pattern recognition at a massive scale. It's not thinking. LLMs predict the next word based on their training data. They don't understand. They don't even remember between sessions, and they don't have options. Every response costs money, tokens coming in and tokens coming out. And finally, AI is an incredibly useful tool, but it is also dangerous if you treat the output as truth. So you should always specify and verify. And in the next episode, we're just going to be talking about what AI agents are. And we're going to take a look at how a basic LLM makes it actually useful for real life world tasks and also real life work as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in our second segment.